What's up and welcome back to another live stream with Gizmo Slip Tech. So today we're going to be benchmarking the Razer Blade 18. We've got a ton of benchmarks for you, including some synthetic tests. We're going to do Timespy, Cinebench R23. We've got a bunch of games already loaded up on the system. We're going to try to move through them as quickly as we can, but at the same time, I also want to do some comparisons between the Blade 18 and the Scar 18 GT77 as we go along, at least partially. And then I'm going to do some split screen benchmarks later, so you'll want to be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on those split screen comparison benchmarks. Now, it's very important to recognize that this laptop has the latest drivers, and some of these other laptops that we'll be comparing this against may have outdated drivers, or maybe some of the games have been updated since. So it's not a direct apples to apples comparison, but I'm trying my best to give you guys the best data I can, because I'm always trying to test every laptop with the latest drivers, BIOS updates, all of that, right? So this is going to be awesome. I know I didn't really advertise this live stream today, but speaking of which, I should probably just slap that up to the community tab real quick, and then we'll get started. So the 1 second, Blade 18, live benchmarks are happening now. And
that's phenomenal.
Beautiful. So I'm really excited to see the performance of this laptop.
Beautiful.
I'm really excited to see the performance of this laptop because it's going to have very interesting levels of performance, and it's going to be the kind of thing that's like, it's thinner, it's lighter, and I want to see how close it can get on the performance scale compared to the competition, right? So, okay. All right, that's posted on the community tab. Let's go ahead and dive into it. We've got so much data to dive into today, and I'm really excited because I think the Blade 18 is going to be my laptop this year, and for now, unless maybe Ryzen CPUs just blow my mind and I want to switch over to a Ryzen CPU. I believe either the Scar 16 or the Zephyrus Duo 16 came in the mail today. I haven't opened the box yet, but it's really exciting to see that. Anyway, I believe we're ready to go. I am using the Omen.
If I point over here, I'm using the Omen 17 over here for our streaming device today. So hopefully we don't run into any streaming issues because of that. But you never know with a new computer how it might behave or react. But it'll be like a little test, I guess, for the Omen 17. I did really enjoy using that yesterday. I did a live stream with that yesterday. And so let's go ahead and dive into it. Let's go ahead and do Modern Warfare 2 for our... Well, let me... Actually, I want to do the benchmarks in a similar order as possible to the Scar 18. So let me pull up that live stream. I don't want to do it in, basically, if I do it in the same order, it becomes a lot easier in post to edit them together. So I'm trying to keep it as consistent as I can. All right, so here's the Scar, and we've got ads. All done. Beautiful. Okay, so first up is Cinebench R23. Let's do that. I mean, I've already done Cinebench R23, so we're going to just kind of go through it. We're going to do a 10-minute test with Cinebench R23. We're going to exit all of these applications. So it's empty. All right. And let me pop over to here. Hold the echo. We got something wrong with the echo? Okay, let me... Okay, yeah, we do. Hold on.
There we go. Echo should be better now. Okay, so I should probably restart this for the edit. Okay, so let's do a quick intro. What's up and welcome to the Blade 18 benchmarks video. Today we're going to be testing a ton of games. We are live streaming with the Omen 17 for today's video. I did enjoy using that yesterday. Did a full testing, unboxing, review video for it. It was like 4-hour long live stream. Be sure to check that out. It's really surprised me and performed really, really well, I think, overall for the money, being the cheapest RTX 4090. Now, today we're going to be focusing on a series of synthetic tests. We got Timespy, Cinebench R23, of course. I believe we're going to try to do Blender instead of Geekbench. I'm cutting Geekbench. Geekbench is crap. Anyway, we're going to do Blender benchmark instead by popular demand. Then we've got a bunch of games to run, and we're going to see how we do today, okay? So that's kind of the goal. We'll see if we can get through all of these. All right, guys says the audio is better. That's good. So I'll just cut the live stream there, so that way it's better in the future. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to do Cinebench R23, and we're going to do a single run. And let's also make sure that we are undervolted. I try to test all the laptops in optimal type of performance mode, and it should be undervolted already. Okay, now I want to point out, this is really cool, all right? Razer actually added, I think because of my request, I don't know this for sure, but they added a max fan speed mode here inside of a Synapse. And this is one of the things I requested when I was talking about the Synapse changes. So I really like that. So we're going to click max fan mode. That's going to boost our fan speed in this performance mode now, which is going to hopefully give us even better temperatures than we had before. And we're in custom mode. We should, I believe, have my undervolt that I applied during the unboxing still active. We're going to open HW info up and double check that. And voltage offsets. We do not have any voltage offsets right now. So let's open up Intel XTU and make sure our voltage offsets are in place. All right, so we're going to do a minus 125 on the core voltage offset. And then we're going to do a minus 125 on the efficiency cores cache offset. And then we're going to do a minus 90 on the cache voltage. That's the ring. We're going to apply that. And then we're going to restart our HW info and reboot it up, see if we got our undervolts applied. It should be applied now. There it is, minus 125. Minus 125, minus 90, and minus 125. Now I might be able to undervolt this further, but I'm not going to try necessarily to do that. I'm also going to up my... I'm going to try to set the... I'm going to try to set my exposure on my camera to be better, but it's really hard when there's so many different... It's such a bright display, and so we'll see how it goes. Okay, and so that should be good on our undervolt now. So if I were to undervolt this, I would recommend Intel XTU, and then to do that, you're going to need to disable core memory isolation and your virtual machine platform. I go over how to do that in the unboxing video. Okay, so go over that in detail in the unboxing video. If you want to check that out, pop over to that video. All right, now let's go ahead and close Synapse now. We don't need this open any longer. We do want HW info. Our temperatures are a nice 41 degrees right now. And let's go ahead and get a let's do 5 runs with Cinebench R23. And I'll go up here. And we'll see what we get. I'm not going to worry about recording these necessarily, but you can write them down and average them if you want for a 5-run average. I'm anticipating it should be over 31,000 if everything is running correctly and our undervolt is being properly applied. 31,294, that's excellent. I started and stopped it and started and stopped it. It's okay. We're not taking this run too seriously. We're just kind of throwing numbers in here. Now I'm not sure if you guys can see this, chat, but there is still a little bit of flicker happening on the Blade 18. I did do the Razer Blade 18 hot fix that was supposed to fix this, but it still hasn't fixed it, at least on my Blade 18. 31,131. Okay, checking chat. Will we do this? Any update on flickering issues for the Blade 18 yet? Well, I just gave you that, Michael. Just gave you that to you. Basically, it was supposed to be a hot fix. It seemed to have made it better. I've noticed it less often happening, but it still happens when I'm in Photoshop and certain applications. It still happens, but it happens much more rarely, I think. 31,163. Double David asks, which is more powerful, Blade 18 with 4090 or MSI Raider GE78HX with a 4090? Trying to decide between those two. Those are very similar overall in terms of like more of a premium feel, a little more portable focus, especially compared to the GT77. I think the GE78 is more competitive with the Blade 18. And I think the GE78 should be just a hair faster. So 30,973 for our fourth run. Let's see what we get for number 5. Gizmo Slip Tech, it is still not officially fixed. Interesting. Well, they did release a hot fix on the Razer support page. And yeah, it just didn't fix it on my end. So not sure. Is there any way to overclock an MSI GF65 with an i5-10500H? Not sure if it's possible or not, but it may be possible to raise the power limits and undervolt it. So 30,954. Let's go ahead and do our 10-minute test. Gaming Performance says, Razer Blade 16 was one of my options. Finally, I got the Scar 16 because of price. Here in Spain, Blade 16 is 49.99 euros, and Scar 16 is 39.99 euros. Same specs, but I'd love to have that metal body. Yeah, you'd love to have the metal body until you start gaming on it a lot, and then it gets really hot. So, I mean, if you're playing in air-conditioned environments, it's not that big a deal, or if you're using an external mouse and keyboard. But, I don't know. I guess you could also run the Blade 16 at lower power limits with max fans, and then the body, I'm sure, would be much cooler. So, it depends on how you tune it, I guess, now that there's that max fan option. Alejandro asks, when are you going to do the Lenovo Pro 7i and XMG Neo 16? So the Lenovo Pro 7i is going to happen when it comes in. I have an order in. I may have to cancel and reorder it. The GE78HX with a 4090, I'm not sure if... Oh, wait. That's not what you asked. XMG Neo 16. I don't think the plan is to do the Neo 16. The plan, I think, is to do the Neo 17, which is almost exactly the same laptop. Let's pop over into HW info and see what we're doing over here. So I'm going to go ahead and reset our averages here. And let me make sure that it's in focus too. It should be in focus. But right now we're averaging 4.2 gigahertz, which is really good. On our E-cores, we're averaging 3.47, 3.45. Very good performance. Our temperatures are at 82 degrees, 83 degrees, and 93 degrees for the CPU package. And we're just averaging 120 watts of power. I did bump up to 130, but yeah. What's the best Cinebench number laptop I've used so far? The GE78HX had the best i9 processor that I have gotten so far. And that thing did 33,800 with no undervolt and in a single run. Now, for an extended run, we didn't try that. We did do an extended run after undervolting it, though, and I think it was still the highest 10-minute test at like 30. With an undervolt, it was doing 36,000 something, and with the undervolt for a 10-minute test, I think it did 35,000 something. So it was the best overall performance that we've seen so far out of an i9 chip. But that's also Silicon Lottery, and you may see similar levels of performance out of other i9 chips and other chassis as long as they can hit the same power limits and also do undervolting. Have I tried any tests while powered with a 100-watt USB-C? I have not done any tests with that yet, Atif. That's a great question. And while we're waiting, this is a good time. All right, so. All right, so this is the Razer Blade Thunderbolt 4 dock, and this is the Razer 130 watt USB-C power adapter. Let's take a quick look at these. While we're waiting for Cinebench to finish up, it's a good time. All right, so this dock costs a few $100s, I believe. It's not cheap, but it is pretty premium, I guess you could say, because it's got like this metal body. All right, so here's the dock. It comes in a black plastic, or sorry, silver right now finish. The black version, I believe, is sold out, or at least it was when they went to send me this. It's basically the same size as a power brick for the Razer Blade, and it's got quite the selection of ports. Not quite my ideal selection of ports, unfortunately, but it's still quite good. So on this side, we have a full-size SD card reader, a headset port, and I believe this is the Thunderbolt going in. And then on this side, we have 3 USB-As, a network port, 3 USB-Cs out, and then the power hub. So this power hub is capable of actually, it's got this box has its own power adapter, and it's capable of actually powering the laptop through USB-C. Now, you're obviously not going to get full power gaming from that, but if you just need to do like, Windows work, like if you need to, if you take your Blade 18 to work and you just need to do office tasks while at work, you can easily just plug in the Thunderbolt and then you should be good to go. Here's the power adapter itself. You can see it's not too big, and it doesn't need to be too big because it's not really designed to fully power the laptop. And you do get some Razer stickers with this. And this also has the power cable in here. And a high-speed Thunderbolt 4 port there as well. And you can use this dock. For any laptop. It doesn't have to be a Razer. Any Thunderbolt 4 laptop, you can use this dock. So you could use this to use display outs up to, I believe, I need to confirm this, but I believe it's display port 1.2, okay? So it's not the highest. It's not the highest DisplayPort speed. For example, DisplayPort 1.2 can go out to that resolution, but only at 60 frames per second, not at the 100 or the 240 frames per second that the display hits. To be able to use the Blade with that display, you would actually need to use a dedicated USB-C 1.4 DisplayPort 1.4 adapter, basically. So I got a DisplayPort 1.4 to so USB-C to DisplayPort 1.4 is the way to use that display at the full resolution and 240 hertz refresh rate. So this is the USB-C charger box right here. All right. This is the charger itself. So this has 2 USB-As and 2 USB-Cs. And I might end up using this with my Blade 18 in the backpack. Like if you're just going to Starbucks or something, this is perfect for that. And and I could probably keep this in my backpack because I can use this to power my other stuff or like charge my phone and stuff too. It looks like you do get some additional power adapter plugs inside of here, so you can get your international plugs. And there's also this one too. So depending on what type of plug you're looking for, that'll work. And then let's see what we get in this guy right here. All right. So here is, wow, this is a nice cable. This is about a 6-foot long cable, I think. USB-C, and I can tell it's a thick USB-C designed to do high levels of wattage, probably the 130 watt, the whole 130 watt power output to the laptop. So that's pretty nice, and I'm looking forward to trying this out. I'm probably gonna make a dedicated video on these though. Because I think a lot of people would be interested in the performance you get with those. Okay. I wonder what Magic, Dell, HP, and Lenovo, etc. do with their USB Thunderbolt docks to provide more than 100 watts. Yeah, I'm not sure how many watts the dock can actually provide to the laptop. It might be 130, but yeah, the standard USB-C spec is, I think, 130 maximum. And yeah. Bald said, should I get the Omen with 13900 HX 4090 or add $200 and get the Legion? That's a tough question, Balds. I haven't had my hands on with the Legion yet, but I can tell you that the Legion is certainly a promising option as well. So that's going to be a tough call necessarily. So Daniel, what's up, man? Welcome to the live stream. We're in the last 30 seconds. Let's see what we've averaged for our temps, clock speed, and power limit. We're averaging 119.8 watts of power. We have hit 4.2 gigahertz across all the P cores, 3.4 gigahertz across all the E cores. Very, very good performance levels. And our temps are not too bad at 82 degrees average for core, 91 degrees on the package. So we're not thermal throttling during this test. Overall, very impressive from Razer. You're going to get fantastic CPU performance from this, though not as fast as what you would get in some of the higher end laptops, like I guess the more performance focused laptops. So this time doing this test, we got 30,397 for our 10-minute score. That's great. Now let's go ahead and run our Blender benchmark. Blender, do I need to... We're going to go ahead and run these. So we're running the benchmark. Oh, I didn't show you guys the window. Crap. Okay, well, we're doing the Blender benchmark now. I already closed the Cinebench R23. So we got whatever I said is what it was. It was like 30,300, I believe. What's the best desktop replacement RTX 40 series laptop? Well, many people would argue that like the GT77 is the best desktop because it's like got the best port selection, one of the most extreme cooling solutions. Yeah. So it's interesting. I think the best desktop replacement though is going to be, realistically, there's a bunch of good ones this year, and there's not really any standout true desktop replacements like we used to have a few years ago. Like we used to have the Area 51M that was like, you know, super thick and like big beefy 200 watt GPU. We don't have any 200 watt GPUs this year, so the performance field at least is pretty leveled off right now for like some of these thinner, lighter laptops that only weigh like 6 pounds, like even less than 6 pounds, like the Scar 16 with a 4090 is going to push very similar performance to the GT77. It's just a little bit lower power limits and not quite as much GPU overclock, right? So another phenomenal desktop replacement would be like the XMG Neo 17 and the similar comparable laptops. So there's a lot of options. All right, so here's the results we got. This is for Monster was 211, Junk Shop was 131, Classroom is 97.2, and we're going to, let's open in browser. I don't know. I guess we need the ID, so we're not going to worry about that. Let's try opening it again. And I want to try switching it to the RTX 4090 and see what kind of performance we get. Tharcio says, do you think it's a good alternative to have a budget laptop with an eGPU and via NVMe M.2? There's more bandwidth than Thunderbolt, and it's a cheaper solution. Interesting. I've not really seen any good, easy to use NVMe M.2 eGPUs. So, have I decided to stay with the Razer for myself? Well, Balds, the screen flickering issue needs to be fixed if I'm going to keep the Blade 18 as my personal laptop, because it is annoying. I don't know why this is not running. I want to make sure that we don't have something running in the background. Let's just go ahead and restart this Blender benchmark so we don't have anything going in the background. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, 4090, start benchmark. All right. There is a BIOS update for the Blade 18 flickering. Daniel, I did the BIOS update and it did not fix it. Unless the BIOS update did not take, then I should probably double check it. But so far, I thought it fixed it. I thought it was addressed and it stopped flickering, but then I started noticing some additional flickering, and right now I'm seeing flickering on the display. So there's definitely some flickering. I do not have Roblox downloaded. Sorry, lucky me. Do you have G-Sync now? Oh, in the panel? NVIDIA GPU control panel? We can check. It's interesting that it's saying warming up scene monster for the last couple minutes. Not really doing the test yet. I'm not sure if that's normal behavior or not, because this is like one of the first times I've ever ran these tests. Do you have G-Sync now? It's also part of the fix. Okay. Let me check. Right now, there is G-Sync. Enable for full screen mode. I guess let's go to that mode. I did change it to enable for window and full screen mode. That may be what's causing it. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm not seeing the flickering now. The flicker seemed to have went away when I changed it to G-Sync on full screen mode only. I don't see the flicker anymore. You guys see the flicker on the stream? I think the flicker just went away when I changed that G-Sync setting. Hey, I'm amazing, Razer. You need to hire me. No, I'm just kidding. I just fixed your problem. Just kidding. No, I think I changed that on my own. Yeah, I don't think it's flickering anymore. That is awesome to see. Awesome. Okay, so we did do the Blender benchmark. It's not doing, for some reason, it's not running on the GPU benchmark. I let it sit there for like almost 5 minutes, so I don't want to waste time. What's here? What's our next test? Our next test is going to be Timespy GPU and Port Royale. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. All right. So Timespy is a quick and dirty like GPU comparison test. It's really not like an end-all be-all test. Like, it doesn't tell you everything you need to know about a laptop's performance, but it can give you a pretty good idea of like a rough idea of like the performance range of what the laptop is capable of potentially. And yeah, so I have really enjoyed my time using the Razer Blade 18. Aside from the skin being on the touchpad, that to me makes the touchpad not as nice, but overall it's been really good. It just went away. Nice find. Yeah, right. You guys are awesome. Daniel was part of that fix because he wanted me to check into G-Sync. So, the flicker on the display really is something that is really. In some windows, you barely notice it, and then it comes and goes. in most of the apps, it doesn't flicker at all. All right, that's one thing I noticed. It doesn't flicker at all in most of the apps, but then certain apps are just like flicker, 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 flicker. I'm like, goodness, what the heck is going on? It's like I can barely look at this thing. Like it's hurting my eyes. Ow, ow. But yeah, so it's not the kind of thing that I don't think is going to bother too many people instantly all the time, but it's a deal breaker if you use an app that has really bad flicker. You know, like it is a deal breaker if they can't get it fixed. But it's clearly a driver software issue, in my opinion. I really want to overclock this and do the test with an overclock, but we really shouldn't. Maybe we should do one Timespy run with an overclock first. No, let's do it. Let's do it first. Interesting. It says we recommend disabling G-Sync before you run this benchmark. That's interesting. I've never seen that pop up before, I don't think. So let's see what we get. So right now, everything is stock. There's no overclock, except there is a CPU undervolt right now. Freddie says, you're doing God's work reviewing all these different laptops. Man, GG's. Yeah, no problem, dude. Thanks, man. I'm trying. Can you use the Razer Blade 18 on your lap, or does it get too hot? No, I actually have used it on my lap, and it is pretty usable, even when gaming. At least if you're not in too hot of an environment. And the main reason for that is the primary heat of the laptop is right in the center. And if you, as long as the fans, fan intakes all have air coming into the bottom of the laptop, the sides of the laptop and the front of the laptop stay pretty cool. So you can use this laptop on your lap if you like kind of straddle your legs a little bit, pretty comfortably. It doesn't get that hot actually. I was really surprised how well you could use it. So like, for example, I think one area where a lot of people are going to use it is like, while editing a video, like at an airport or something. And I think it's going to do a pretty good job with that. All right, so looking at our wattages, 175 watts in Timespy. That's exactly what we're looking for. And our clock speed on the GPU is also very excellent at 2100. And that's without any overclock, right? So we're bouncing 2100, a little over 2100, then down to 2050. We'll probably bounce down below 2000 even at certain points in this test. But with an overclock, I'm pretty sure we could get that at average up closer to 200. Now, our temperatures right now are also very, very good. Look at that, 62 degrees Celsius on the GPU, 66 degrees on the CPU. We're obviously just getting started here, so you really need to bake it in and see how long, after like 10 minutes, see what the temperatures are like. I am not raised up. Let's get this thing raised up. So the that initial Cinebench run actually did not have the rear of the laptop raised up. So it's nice to see that we were still only doing like 81 and 92 or something like that. Haresh says, hey, I got it. Razer Blade 18, 4080 i9 13th gen, 64 gigs, 6 terabytes. Dude, that's nice, man. Congrats. Yeah, I think the fans on the Blade 18 are really quiet. If you don't set it to maximum fans, and then if you set it to like not necessarily maximum TDP levels, I was actually shocked at how good of performance you can get with very minimal fan noise. So if you're playing a game on the speakers, and this has excellent speakers, so you play. Like I was playing Hogwarts, raw speakers, spatially aware. I can hear when enemies are around me. I don't think that the spatial audio is quite as good as headphones. So for competitive esports games, I still would recommend headphones, but it is still very immersive, especially for casual gaming, and or maybe movies. But then what so. You go to like in Synapse, you put like CPU boost on low and GPU boost on medium or something, and you end up with like 35, 40 watts on the CPU and like 140, 150 watts on the GPU. And your system is very quiet. Your temperatures are okay. They're like 70s, 80s. And then you're just getting pure game audio with the speakers that are phenomenal. So it's a great gaming experience for overall great audio experience. Acoustic experience, I guess is what I'm looking for. Holy crap. We got 22,044 with no overclock. That is higher than the last time I tested this. Driver updates, I guess. Holy schmoly. Or maybe BIOS updates, because I also did the latest BIOS updates too. So let's do a overclock. Last time it was 21,000 something, and this time we're doing 22,000. I love it. All right, so we're doing this quick and dirty overclock. I have tested the overclock on this before, and I was able to do like 225, 1,000. So we're just gonna try that. The dogs love the overclock. Yeah, yeah. We've got people mowing the lawn outside right now. Peter Smith says $4,500 beta tester. I just don't get it. So I mean, the flicker issue is probably the biggest issue, but it's a driver issue. And it's the kind of thing that is probably out of the control of Razer, because it's probably NVIDIA or Intel that has their software messed up. Now, they are choosing to ship the product in the condition that it's at, which I can kind of understand trying to ship it as it is, and I really think they should have found that issue sooner and got it addressed sooner. But still, I wouldn't call this like just straight beta product. It's obviously a good product. Okay, look at our clock speeds. Now we're over 2200, 2250 on our clock speed. This is very impressive. Clock speeds overall. Now with the GT77, with the overclock that was baked into that, we were doing more like 21 to 2200 base. And then we were boosting that sucker up to like 23 something, 2350, almost 2400 at points. So this is still not going to match the GT77's performance. And now that we have these driver updates, I'm tempted to try the GT77 again, see what kind of Timespy performance at least we can get with that now that we have the new drivers. I love the Blade and how minimalist it is, but the price drives me away. Yeah, it's not for someone who has wants to get a laptop on a budget. That's not the Blade Razer customer. The Razer customer is definitely someone who's wants to spend some money for a more premium overall experience. So that's definitely true. Sam Ward says, do you think the driver update explains why the Omen kept beating the Scar? It could be. It will, especially in a game like Hogwarts. Hogwarts had a nice optimization update in the last week, and it did help reduce some of the 1% stuttering and maybe boost FPS a little bit. So I would say that if I could retest the Scar 18, I probably would at least want to retest some of the games. Looks like my Scar 16 was delivered, just confirmed. Asus Strix Scar 16 live streams incoming soon. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that, all right? Spend less and get the Scar, get a better experience for less. Well, in some ways, the Scar is not as nice of an experience, but it is in other ways better. Like the Scar 16 is even more portable than the Blade 18. Speaker-wise, the Blade 18 is going to have better speakers. The Blade 18 has a bigger display. Scar 18 is a little more portable. Did I mention that already? The performance should be very similar between the two, but I think the Scar 16 actually should have slightly higher performance, which is interesting. But the Scar 16, I think, is a phenomenal laptop too. But the main reason why I'm probably not going to go Scar 16 is because of the ports this year. The ports really are lackluster on the Scar 16. I am almost always using 3 USB A's almost every day. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, it's basically all day, almost every day, because I have all my cameras plugged in. I need to plug in other stuff. I got my mouse to plug in. There's multiple things that I have plugged in. And so I really appreciate when there's at least 3 USB-As and a full-size SD card reader. And the Blade 18, I did transfer some footage yesterday, and it was doing 250 megabytes per second. Whoa, 23,000. We broke the 23,000 mark with the Blade 18, everyone. Impressive stuff. Very impressive. Wow. Wow. Wowie wow wowzers. So I have reduced the overclock back to stock. We are going to install Point Royale, and we're going to run Point Royale and see what we get here. We're looking for a little over 13,000, maybe even 14,000. We'll see. Tell me, please, will you test the GE78 4090? I do not currently have it in the plans to do the 4090 version. I have a 4080 version that I bought. So the 4080 version that I bought is going to be live streamed here probably next week or maybe the week after. This is max fans. Yeah, the maximum fans button is checked in Synapse. So, yeah. So Daniel says, because of the aluminum casing, the Blade tends to blow batteries when used for multiple hours in TDP gaming. That's something to factor in. I disagree, Daniel. The new design, at least on the Blade 18, has a fan right in between the battery. It's like nestled in between the 2 battery cells. And it's going to blow air, suck in air, and blow air right around there, keeping the battery much cooler and keeping the wrist rests and keyboard area cooler too. The other big thing is now in Razer Synapse, you don't have to keep the lithium-ion battery charged at 100%. You can knock that sucker down to 80% or 70%, which is what I would recommend, 70 or 80%. 50% if you're not going to use the battery. If you know you're not using the battery, knock it down to 50%. But if you're going to be using the battery regularly, I recommend doing like 80%. But that's really the key, I think, for maximizing your performance and your maximizing your battery longevity and your long-term longevity to help prevent battery bloat. Now, Razer is also offering a 2-year battery warranty this year instead of 1 year, right? So because of some of the battery bloat issues they've had in the past, they want to inspire more user confidence. That said, I still think in general, if you're going to keep a laptop for a long time, I do recommend the extended warranty. And I know that Razer does have an elite care plan for their extended warranty. I have not used it, but it is an option. You could also buy this through Best Buy and get a total care plan with accidental protection over at Best Buy too. Martin with the 200 CZK. I have no clue how much that's worth, but it doesn't matter. Thank you very much for helping support the channel. I'm assuming it's like $200 US. It's amazing. Thank you for your donation. When is CSGO? So CSGO is going to be about halfway through. And I don't think I've installed Valorant. So I don't think we're doing Valorant today. But I guarantee you in Valorant, you will be getting 240 frames per second in QHD. It's pretty much guaranteed. It'll be more than that probably by a noticeable margin. I got the Asus Strix G18 with the RTX 4070. It is awesome, but it is going to my wife once I catch the Asus Strix G18 with the 4080 in stock at Best Buy. Nice, Kirk. Dude, congrats. That's a great laptop. Murden says, Gizmos Tech, I watched the VOD of your Omen 17 video. I personally would take the Blade 18 with 4060 rather than the Omen with 4090. I'm a student, and Razer has everything better than the Omen 17 except for power. I believe you mean performance there, but yeah. I know what you mean, and I can see why some people would want to get the Blade 18 instead, but I think most people would rather focus on a massive performance bump because the 4090's almost double the performance of the 4060, probably. I have to double check that number, but in terms of Timespy numbers, this just got 23,000, and the Omen with an overclock, I'm not sure, we got 22,600, I think. So anyway, 13,855 for Port Royale, which is obviously a very good score. Not quite 14,000. The GT77 got over 14,000. What's the most graphical game? Well, right now the least optimized game is probably Hogwarts, but all right. So we're gonna do CrystalDiskMark next. I probably need to download it though. I don't think I have CrystalDiskMark downloaded. Let's download this thing real quick. CrystalDiskMark. Download. We just need the standard version. Should begin shortly, it says. Beautiful. This just takes a second to install, so. All right. So after CrystalDiskMark, we're going to do Dying Light 2. This is not the right thing. Did I not download the right thing? I'm an idiot. This is Crystal Disk Info. We need CrystalDiskMark. Is this the right button, or am I going to get a virus by clicking on this? We're going to find out. It should be the right button, I think. There it is. Okay, so we're going to close all of these. We're ready to click all, and we'll see what we get for our CrystalDiskMark score. I gotta tell you, I have been loving this Blade 18 display. It looks phenomenal and is really, really impressive in real life, I think. Murden says, Blade 18 looks better and cleaner, build quality, better sound, better screen compared to Omen 17. I only play Warzone 2 and League, and I think a 4060 would be more than enough for those games. I'm not sure about Warzone. A 4060 is obviously going to be able to play League exceptionally well. Warzone 2, I'm pretty sure you'd probably get more FPS with the 4090, but... Peter Smith, does this have Halo? This is not a mini LED display, so no, it does not have Halo. What do you use to prop up the rear of the laptop? I use an SSD enclosure. I've got an SSD enclosure that I use. The depth in those colors look great. Yeah, it does. The display for games has been the most colorful display, aside from the GT77 that I've tried so far. And the brightest display, besides the GT77. Big Jeezy says, I was going to go with the Omen 17, but I do have some extra cash to cover a more premium laptop with a really nice screen this time around. I'm looking at all your videos now. Gotcha. Thanks for stopping by, Big Jeezy. Yeah, I think the Blade 18 is going to be a popular choice this year. Much more likely for mainstream gamers to choose it because of the much higher TDP limits. Now, oh, well, why am I doing an SSD test? I'm not using the stock SSDs right now anyway. I'm using my 8 terabyte SSDs that are Gen 4s, and they're just not going to be as fast anyway. So there's not really any point to doing this test, I'm just realizing. But I'll wait. I'll wait for a second for the right speed to come up at least. Do you have any contact at XMG? I will point their PR head to your streams. Maybe they'll lend me a Neo 17. I do have a contact at XMG already, and they're already planning to send me an XMG Neo 17, so don't worry, man. I am covered already. The Neo 17 should come before the end of this month, so... Zabald says, I'm playing Hogwarts on my Alienware M16 3060 R58 in medium settings, minimal settings with stuttering, waiting for end of month to buy a 4080 or 4090 laptop. Hopefully what you do will help me. It actually already does. Cool, man. Well, I hope I can help you. Daniel says, I will talk to Shinneker. Maybe they'll lend you a test sample. Which laptop from Shinneker? I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right. So, like I said, there's basically no point in letting me continue this test. I'm going to, because this is not the stock SSD, we're going to cancel this. We're going to stop it. I have two 8 terabyte SSDs. See 7.45 gigs right there. Anyway, okay. On to Dying Light 2. Let's go. Stop there. Okay. Dying Light 2. I also, there's a huge monumental. So Chris Jones, the $2 donation says, thanks for the awesome content. Thanks, dude, for stopping by and for the donation, man. Appreciate it. Anyway, so what I was going to say that is so cool is the channel for the last 48 hours is almost breaking 100,000 views. I don't know if you can see that. Come on, camera. Focus. There, I should be able to make your focus right here. Yeah, so 96,500, which is the most the channel has ever had before. So it's really awesome to see the channel grow, the tech channel grow. And thank you so much, everyone. I couldn't do it without you. Literally, I would not be able to do it without your support. So it feels really great, and I'm incredibly grateful. Tom from XMG is such a nice guy. Have fun with the Neo. Do you also get the external water cooler? Yeah, I do. So they already sent me an XMG Neo 17 with the water cooler actually, but it was one of the units that had faulty. It was one of the we have to restart the game because it wasn't in DX12 mode. So the XMG Neo 17 that they sent was a one of the pre-production units that was not done correctly. So they're sending me a corrected one, basically. Engineered Appliance Repair with a $20 super chat. Thanks for the great content. Thank you guys so much for the support, and thank you so much for the support, man. It's really awesome. And if you guys are donating, feel free to become a member too if you want to help support me on a reoccurring basis. I think it starts at $5 a month, and you get a special badge name in chat to indicate that you're a supporter. And then you can also get access to ordering laptops that I review. So there's a wait list that you need to fill out on a form that you need to fill out if you're interested in doing that. So you become a member, and then you go to the community tab and you'll have access to that. All right, so let's go ahead and make sure that we're on the right. We're gonna go to ray tracing on high quality. We're gonna save that setting. We need to restart again. Why do we have to restart again? Interesting. Do you think NVIDIA will come up with a better 4090 mobile cards in a year or two with more RAM and power limit? So the technology will always get better. There will always be a 4090 Ti down the line. There will be a 5090. There'll be a 6090. And it all comes down to you getting the performance that you want to get in the games you want to play, and you being happy with it. And if you're already happy with your laptop, then maybe an RTX 1000, like a 1080 or something, or 1070, that laptop can still play most games on medium and low settings, or even some games on ultra settings, depending on the game. So if you're already getting the frames you want in the games you want to play, there is no point in upgrading at all, right? So I just like making sure that that's clear, that there's no point in upgrading if you're already getting the frames you want. But yeah, no pressure to upgrade as always. But I've been impressed with frame gen so far. It's been very impressive. Isn't Bob of All Trades at XMG? No, Bob of All Trades is at Electronics now. He works for them. Balak says, Asus M16 2023 or Razer Blade 16 or 18. I'm not a fan of the design. I wonder how they feel 2023 or Alienware X16 2023. I just need a perfect gaming laptop for gaming build quality, also durability. Well, for build quality, I would say the Razer Blade series is going to be higher quality. The Alienware should be pretty high quality too. Yeah, in terms of durability and rigidity though, Razer does make the most rigid laptops. Freddie Paul Joel says very low CPU wattage. That's interesting. Let's take a look at that. So right now we're doing 40 watts to the CPU, 160. The thing is, we are not needing higher levels of CPU right now. Look at that. We're at 98% GPU utilization. So the CPU is just acting very optimized, I guess. Like, we're not being CPU bottlenecked by this. Our performance has also been phenomenal, relatively speaking. I know the Strix Scar 18 was pulling a lot more wattage in this game. I think it was doing more like 60, 70, 80s or something like that. And we're doing less wattage and pulling higher frames in Dying Light 2. So that's very interesting. Now, the temperatures are also phenomenal. You're right, Don. 66 degrees in the GPU, 70 degrees on the CPU. Wow. So we got 146. That is phenomenal. I am really impressed with the performance. I believe isn't that the same we got on the Omen 17? Like, wasn't it 146 as well? All right, so next up, we have Dead Space. All right, Dead Space. Even the Omen pulled 60 watts in the CPU. That's interesting. You know, it might be related to the faster memory in this. This is the fastest memory we've tested so far. This has DDR5 5600 in this Razer Blade 18 4090. So 32 gigs of it. Britt Allen says, I think 140. What do you mean? Daniel says, I also really like the Blade 18, but I'm missing the number pad and the mini LED screen. I do wish this had a number pad and a mini LED screen. Both would be awesome additions. I'll bet you next year's version of this will have those options. So we're going to make sure we're in the right resolution, 2560 by 1600. All right. Interesting enough, it was at 16 by 9 aspect ratio. We need to turn off VSync. DLSS is on quality. No dynamic resolution scale. I think all of those settings look good. Let's see here. What's the endurance of the Blade 18 if I had a 1 hour gaming session? I mean, I've done a number of 1 hour gaming sessions with it, and it's been great. I mean, are you talking about like in terms of temps, or what are you talking about? CPU is burning. I'm just looking at it right now, and it's doing 81. I saw a 92 a second ago. I wouldn't call that burning. I would call burning just like nonstop thermal throttling. This is a very CPU-bound type of a game. We saw CPU throttling in this game to where the GPU utilization was like high 70s in the 80s often on the Omen 17. There's 80s right there for a second, high 70s. But let's see what it is when we turn around and face the other way. So we'll have to see. All right, so here we are. We're ready to do our test. Let's go ahead and walk. And then we'll also compare. So 112 so far. You know, our GPU is not hitting 100% utilization there. And now we're getting closer. Oh, now it's 89. Now it's 90. Still, we are getting some CPU throttling is what I would say. But it's not so terrible that we're not getting good GPU utilization, at least. But there is still some CPU throttling here happening. And at least to some extent. Like, we definitely didn't get as high a FPS, though, in this as we did on the Scar. I think the Scar did, what was it, 100 and... Okay, so there it is, 121.28. Let me pull up what the Scar got. And... 1 second, everyone. I suppose I should also... While we do this, I should probably pull up some of those side-by-side benchmarks, too. There we go. There we go. All right, so let me pull this up on the stream. I got to put it into this window, and then we go like that, and we go like this, and we go like that. And then I gotta go here, and we gotta go here. Voila, and so you can see side by side, this is what the Scar 18 and GT77 did. You can see that the Scar 18 is hitting close to 100% GPU utilization at least. And look at the wattage differences. Like this, right now the Blade is doing 60s in the wattages. The clock speed's even lower on the Blade, but our FPS numbers were higher on the Blade 18. And this could be because of memory sensitivity. I don't know. It's interesting. Dead Space is an interesting game to benchmark, is what I will say. Yeah. Let me... I'm just setting up my hotkeys. Okay, so now I can do switches. Very good. All right. So 121.28. Very impressive. And this has also been like a nice kind of burn-in test of our temperatures. If you've noticed, we've had high wattages kind of going through here. And our CPU temps have gone up to like the high 80s and then bounced off of 90s a little bit. But for the most part, they've been averaging in like the 80s, I would say. Low 80s, high 70s. So, and the wrist rest is also not hot. It's just slightly warm. I love that. Let's go. Is it here? Here. How much does the Razer 18 cost? Does it equal to a kidney? Yes. It's... You keep repeating it over and over again. Equal to 1 million kidneys. All right, so next up, we have got Modern Warzone 2. All right, so Warzone 2. Let's go. Open up BattleNet. Will the GE78HX 4090 be better choice than the Scar 18 4090 performance and build quality? I don't know if it'll be in a very similar ballpark in terms of performance. I don't think you're going to see too much of a difference in performance. I think the power limits on the I think the MSI BIOS is a little better. But Asus has got a lot going for it too, from like with liquid metal conductanaut to the thermal design. I think it's being just a little better, and the display is better on the Scar 18 too. But the GE78, at least the one I had some really phenomenal CPU silicon lottery, which is kind of biasing me towards saying that the GE78 might have a little more performance. But that's just, it's going to vary from laptop to laptop, really. So I don't really want to say, I don't want to advise anyone to base their choices on something that's like variable, like silicon lottery. All right, so let's go to the graphics settings. We are in QHD Plus. Our quality is currently set to extreme. We'll set it to minimum. DLSS is going to be on quality. So everything's set to minimum with DLSS on quality. We're going to apply those settings. That said, I have seen performance with a 4090 that's very similar to whether you're doing... Can I not do solos? I just want to do solos. I don't know why they make it so hard to find a solo match. It's a bit silly. You know, I've seen performance on minimal settings be very similar to extreme settings, which is totally wacko to me, but I think it's because this is such a CPU-bound game. Kirk says, the MSI and Scar beat the Blade 18 in 1% lows. Interesting. I wonder by how much. It's a good thing to point out. The 1% lows are always a good thing to point out. So those are 58, 54. What was the 1% low for the Blade 18? Checking it out now. Interesting. Our 1% low was 28. There must have been like some stutter at the beginning that caused it to go that low. Huh. It didn't really feel stuttery at all to me. Like it felt like super smooth to me. So that's interesting. You should try the multiplayer rather than Battle Royale mode. Well, I'm trying to test it the same each time, if I can. It's hard to test this game the same each time. Ballock says, what model of MSI do you have? I have several MSI laptops, so you're going to have to be more specific. Is the Katana 15B13V a good laptop? I did a live stream of the Katana 15. It's definitely not my top choice. If it's like a really great laptop in your area, maybe it's worth keeping. I don't know, but generally speaking, it's not the kind of thing I'd be like, yeah, recommend this. Mainly because of build quality and display quality, especially. The display quality, at least the full HD display, is really, really mediocre. It was like, I think 230 nits or something like that? It was under 250 nits, I remember that. So definitely not ideal for display quality. Well, our temperatures are spicy at 93 degrees, 97 there. So we are pushing a hefty amount of CPU wattage through the CPU right now. We're doing 70s. We were doing 90-something watts. Do you have all the results on your website for easy comparison? So HPAS, we have certain benchmarks on the website for comparison. God of War, Red Dead Redemption, and Timespy, Cinebench R23, Cyberpunk 2077. So those are the ones that are on. I think this is a different map than I tested last time. Great, different map. I don't know. Let's go over here. So what am I trying to say? Yeah, so there are a lot of benchmarks that are going to be available on my list, but they're not all going to be available, right? So you just got to keep that in mind. Freddie says, go to a city. We'll see. I'm going to try running down this bridge first, and I guess we'll run into that city if we don't die right away. All right, so here we are. Let's just mark on the map where we are again. What is that? The map is wigging out. So just to the left of Mawaza Marshlands, all right? It's probably some kind of ability that someone has. All right, so we're doing 153 FPS, which is pretty much what I would expect for this laptop. It's basically almost exactly what we were seeing in the GT77 and the Scar 18. They were all doing right around 150. Oh, crap. There's a person. I only have a pistol. Do I have a chance against this guy? I'm turning on sound so I can hear. There he goes. There's guys running right there. Don't kill me, please. Yeah, so the wattages did drop, which is pretty interesting, huh? I really would love to get a better gun. Ah! That's a grenade! Okay.
Enemy UAV overhead.
Uh-oh. Someone's got an enemy UAV. That's not good. GPU usage dropped at 70%. So this game is heavily CPU bound in every laptop I've tested so far, so it totally makes sense that the GPU would be only at 70%, and it's basically the CPU bound, and we're at 150.
Enemy UAV active.
I would love to be able to kill someone. This is freaking dangerous. Running around in the open.
Located. Targets are marked under attack map.
Speakers are really freaking loud. Uh-oh.
Hostile UAV in the area. Enemies deployed a counter UAV. Hostile war strike near your position.
Uh-oh. Am I about to die? He's freaking targeting me, whoever this is. Those landed exactly where I was. All right, we're gonna go with this laptop, or this laptop. I wonder what's going on with our mini map. It's kind of freaking out a little bit. So is this a helicopter I see? Can I take this helicopter? Oh, we are flying now. Do you guys see anybody we can kill? Oh crap, oh my gosh. If we fly long enough, someone's gonna shoot at us, right? Oh hey, there's someone. Right? Look, there's someone in a buggy right there. Oh gosh. Oh goodness. All right, chat. All right, checking chat. Freemote says it's an ability someone is using. Okay, so that's why the minimap's all messed up. Okay, so we're gonna try to fight to win back our life now. Okay. So we're going into the gulag. Average 155 FPS, 89, 1% low, so it's very good. I don't know if I can recommend the Alienware X16 yet. I need to actually test it. Yeah, we got him. Woo! Checking chat. Last year I came to Pakistan for vaccinations when I had to fly. On that day I bought that laptop. Gotcha. Throw the heli on him. That's kind of what I tried to do, and then I totally crashed the helicopter. Our FPS is still doing really good, 160. Hey, at least we got a gun. Oh, should we get on the train? That sounds fun. Oh, crap. Well, there was a dude shot me from behind. Nice. Okay. So there's your Warzone benchmark, guys. It's obviously you're going to be able to play Warzone 2 really, really well. Over 140 FPS. You're CPU bound. If you want more FPS in this game, we're going to have to see how well the Ryzen laptop CPUs do, but I'm guessing you have to go to a desktop CPU if you want even higher FPS. Does AMD FSR have any merit on NVIDIA cards? Yeah, in games that do not have any DLSS support, sometimes FSR is still supported. So that's when I would occasionally maybe use FSR, but generally speaking, it's not really that useful. All right. Compared to DLSS. Whenever DLSS is available, I do prefer it. All right, time for Cyberpunk 2077. Woohoo! When does the Blade 18 have an i9 13980 HX version available? I don't know. I don't know if it'll be available anytime soon. They did say that it would be available at some point, though, so I'm assuming eventually. Tom asked, would you recommend the MSI Vector GP68 4080 i9 for $20.99? Ooh, Tom's. I should check that out at some point. That sounds pretty delicious. Where did you find that at? Was that on Newegg or something? Usually MSI GPs are on Newegg. But I'll have to check that out because that sounds like a pretty good deal overall. So, ray tracing on Ultra. All the ray tracing's up. We're set on Ultra. We're in QHD+. Let's find out what we get. Yeah, so Tom, I'll have to check that out, but that does sound like a good option. Have I finished Cyberpunk? Yeah, I beat Cyberpunk. It was fun. I just have a bunch of side quests to do in Cyberpunk now at this point. I did the whole main storyline now. Okay, so interesting performance, interesting level of wattage. For this game, Cyberpunk, we did. Let's check out the results. Cyberpunk, the GT77 did 112, and the Scar 18 did 116. So right now we're hitting really close to what both of those got. It says we're averaging 109, but usually that underestimates the average by a little bit. So that bodes really well for the Scar 18, or for the Blade 18, I mean. The GP68 is only 140 watt. Well, for the 4080, I think it should be higher, right? Oh, wow. So we got 119.35. So that's not quite as high as the Omen 17, but that's higher than both the Scar and the GT77. Let me show you guys that. So right here, you can see on Cyberpunk 2077, we got 112 with the GT77, 116. This got 119 in Cyberpunk. So fantastic. That's probably the memory speed or maybe the driver updates giving the advantage to the Blade 18. Now, it's not quite as fast as what we got in the Omen, but still very, very good. For Cyberpunk, I will go ahead and test it without frame generation, DLSS, or ray tracing at QHD+, because some people want to see that, and I want to do at least one game without everything on. So ray tracing is disabled, DLSS is disabled, and frame generation is disabled. Let's run the benchmark and see what we get. Now, I would pretty much be keeping frame generation and DLSS on, I think, the whole time that I would play Cyberpunk, but some people don't like it. So we'll try at least this game with it, you know, disabled. So, okay, so around 83 so far. Can you test with auto fan mode? Because this laptop should be slim, quiet, and I want to see the fan noise and temps also on auto mode. Don, remind me in Hogwarts, and I will run it in like a... Because the Hogwarts is nice, demanding on CPU and GPU. And we'll change the fan noise on that one. Am I going to do a comparison between the Scar 18 and the Omen 17 with the 4090? Yes, we're going to do that. What would you like... Who wouldn't like the free frames, LOL? Well, some people are just so, I don't know, anti-NVIDIA marketing stuff. I don't know. They want to just see raw performance only. And, I mean, I can't blame them necessarily because NVIDIA has done some weird stuff in the past. Yeah, maybe they're AMD fanboys or something. I don't know. Hard to say exactly the reasoning. But this right here is at least... something for them to be able to compare some data with, right? QHD+, all ultra settings, no ray tracing, no DLSS, no frame generation. 88.93 FPS, so basically 89 FPS. You know what? We can try the Cyberpunk mission. All right. We can try the Cyberpunk mission. I'll turn the sound up. You can hear those speakers. They're so loud. The speakers are so loud they overpower the fan noise, even on max fans.
Great to have you back. So then, did you all hear about that Arasaka aircraft carrier docked in Night City called Kujira or the Whale?
So we're turning off max fan mode.
Figured it wasn't safe in Japanese waters. Afraid.
Okay, so you can hear the fan noise winding down now, right? It's like reducing. It's getting quieter and quieter. So that's the fan noise settling down to where it's going to be. And look at our temps. Our temps are still pretty good, even though we're not at max fans anymore. We're at 70, 75 degrees still. And right now I just started the average here. I'm going to turn the sound on and let's go shoot some people.
On your toes. More bodies incoming.
And also we're still in no frame generation. Let's turn frame generation and there. Okay, so now we're on everything set to ultra with quality, frame generation enabled.
They're almost on you.
All right.
Let's fuck these reapers. Oh yeah, they're coming. Rip up the shreds! Man down! Team's under control! Keep on!
Gas are still crawling. Clean it up, clean it out. Don't want to be bringing the target out under fire. And definitely don't want a slug in your back.
No way, not neither. Hey, Pablo! Is that all you got? Hell yeah! We got options here. Fuck, you got eyes on this shithole? Anything.
Roofies in.
All the swearing in this.
Got a window on the left. Give me 2 seconds to grease the lock.
There we go. So we averaged
Don't see any
103 in that
movement on the
section.
sensors.
And holy crap, I can't hear the fans at all. All I'm hearing is game audio. Now that I muted it, I can hear fans, but
Looks like you got him. You're clear to go.
Shit, where the hell's our target?
so yeah, the audio is phenomenal. Okay. The audio experience is phenomenal too. So it's like, highly recommend that. That's very good overall gaming experience. Next up, we have Fortnite. This should be installed already. Let's turn on max fan mode again. Is this the best audio on a gaming laptop I've ever heard? Yeah, it is on a gaming laptop. The MacBook Pro is still a little better, but the Blade 18 is very close. I think you're younger than me. How old do you think I am, chat? Chat, let me know. How old do you think I am? Shabishuto says 32. 32, 32, 35. 41. Matthias with the brutal 4-1. 35 to 38, 37. Gosh darn it, with these, you guys getting higher and higher. I don't know if I'm going to tell you now after this brutal showing. Shabir says, what do you mean brutal? I'm 45. Dude, you're an old dude, man. I'm sorry. All right? You're an old man. All right? All right. So we are on low preset. So much sure. Okay, it looks like I already set the settings for this. Beautiful. So we're doing 0 build mode. We're gonna play. Keep living, you'll see. Yeah, so I am 35. I am 35. So Double David was the first one to guess correctly. What's the time here? It's 5:17. So in the intro area here, we're doing 271 FPS right now. It's not that far from 41, trust me. Oh goodness. Don't tell me that. Brett says I'm 41. Yeah, I mean, once you're in your 30s, 40s, it's all the same age, right? Until you get to your 50s, and then you really are getting old, right? So our temps are phenomenal. 78 degrees. 71, 73, 65 on our GPU. Our performance is above 240 FPS with some stutters. We're going to go in the middle again. I can tell you still love testing laptops as a hobby. Yeah, I do. I always have. I always have. If you're attached, it's all the same. If you're single, it's a big difference between 30s and 40s. What do you mean? How is it different? Which of these laptops support full undervolting? MSI laptops, some MSI laptops. The MSIs with HXs, the Razer Blade 16 and 18 have. The Alienware did not, but maybe it's still possible. Okay, so I just reset the I just reset the counter, FPS counter, so we'll see what we average. All right, well, we're not getting anything from there, so let's just go ahead and go in here now. I'm hearing a lot of firing. Wait, wasn't there someone here? I am out of bullets. Yes, we killed him. I have 0 bullets left, like literally none. I got a shotgun though, so that's good. Uh-oh, we're getting shot from someone. Alrighty then. You know, our FPS in Fortnite so far hasn't been bad, but it's not been as high as what we saw in... I think these are bots, or at least some of these are bots. Oh, that guy annihilated me there. I almost got him. Age is just a number. That's true. Prediction for the Timespy on the G14 4090? I don't know. I'm thinking like 17 to 18,000? I don't know. We'll have to see. It's going to be probably somewhere in that ballpark-ish, I bet. Don says, I've been watching all these unboxing streams for the past 3 weeks. Really good streams. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so our Fortnite performance was very good. 241 FPS, at least right there. I'm not sure exactly what it was in the middle of the live. Let me go back. So we are getting more than our screen refresh rate, but it wasn't as high as what we saw in the Scar 18 or the GT77, unfortunately. So, not sure exactly the reason why. Maybe our settings weren't quite right, or maybe it's just slower CPU performance because we have less CPU wattage. I don't know. Pretty interesting. Yeah, so the Fortnite... Oh, I don't have the Fortnite number here. That's okay. So next up was Watch Dogs Legion. Let's hop into that. How many decibels is this fan? On maximum fan, I'm guessing still probably like 55 decibels on maximum fan, but I don't think I would probably play games in maximum fan mode unless I'm using headphones. So, and as we saw earlier, we can do games that are very, very high levels of performance. Okay, so the game is loading. It's just taking a while. We can do high levels of performance with reasonable temps on like no max fan mode. So, yeah. All right, see you, Lucas. How is that person swimming like a dolphin? That's just Fortnite water physics, I guess. I may have crashed the laptop by my switching between all these different apps as the game was loading. Okay, so there. I can see my mouse again now. I'm going to try to let it load here, but we may have to restart the laptop. Am I reviewing the Asus A16 with a 7600? Yes, I do hope to review that, Shadow. I'm just got a lot of laptops to review right now, so it's a process getting through them all. Eventually, hopefully in the next 2 months, I'll get to that one. That'd be my goal. What's up, Red Hand? I can't say your name. Seprin? I don't know. I'm just trying to pronounce it in English. Okay. Watchdog Legion benchmark. Let's go. So, Watch Dogs Legion is a very interesting game because it's so CPU, GPU demanding, especially with DLSS and ray tracing enabled. So, we'll have to see what we get. Jumping over to our examples here for Watch Dogs Legion. We got 86 on the Scar, 90 on the GT77. So pretty interesting results. So we're going to go for 90. I guess 86 would be the goal. It sucks how crap 13th gen is for battery life. Well, especially the HX processor versions. With all those extra cores, I don't know. It might be interesting to try to optimize for a better battery life at some point, but okay, so we're at QHD plus. Quality is going to be ultra settings. Ray tracing on ultra, DLSS on ultra. Beautiful. We're running the benchmark. Yeah, Harambe, I'm really curious to see what the Ryzen laptops do for battery life. I'm thinking the Ryzen 9 7945HX is not going to be too much better. Because yeah, we'll have to see. The 16, it's got 16 cores, so it's going to be difficult for that thing to do super well. Am I going to unbox any MSI Stealth laptop anytime soon? I currently don't have any plans to, Don, but I'd love to do the Stealth 14. That would be my plan. I wonder how good the battery life is with new and would-be difference between the Intel one. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. So right now we're averaging 88 FPS. Very good. Our GPU is doing 151, 60 watts. This is kind of a GPU-bound area. Our CPU is only doing 52 watts, but our FPS is still fantastic. It's so interesting how the Scar 18 was basically pulling double the wattage of this laptop, and yet our averages are still better with the Blade 18. I'm thinking, I'm thinking driver updates. Maybe memory speed here plays into a factor because we do have the faster memory speed. It's been really interesting. I'm going to go and mute the audio from the test, but what do you think about the new laptop available in Europe? Maybe you can recommend me look for something, especially Legion 7. So I'm not sure the best place to buy Legion 7 from Europe. So we averaged 88 there. Average FPS 88. So right in between the Scar 18, which had 86, and the GT 77. So very good performance once again. Harambe says, is the G14 chassis cooling improved? It struggled to cool the 6800 and now has a 4090. Yeah, they added another fan, I believe, in the G14. I think. So that's why they're able to push to a higher wattage level. I did not test it with the 6800 Radeon GPU, so I'm not sure what that performance is going to be like yet. I'm very curious to try it, though. It's one of the laptops I really want to test, so we'll have to see. So what laptop will be available in Europe? A lot of these laptops are already available in Europe. And in terms of recommending you a laptop, you need to give me specifics of what you want in a laptop before I can really know. Can Lance retest the Scar? Britt, I'm not sure if Lance could retest the Scar or not. I suppose I could ask him if I could borrow it for another day. A lot of people are curious about it because the Scar is now like kind of falling behind a little bit some of these other laptops, which I was not expecting at all, right? We're hitting higher CPU performance and yet lower FPS numbers. We do have the slower DDR5 4800 memory in the Scar, so maybe that's the reason, but it could also just be driver updates. So and without retesting it, we don't know. So for now, the best I can do is just tell you, like, this is what we got, this is what we got then, this is what we got now. You know? I am showing you real results and giving you the full context of everything, so... All right, so we're on 2560 by 1600. Everything's on Ultra. DLSS is disabled. Everything's on Ultra, though. So let's run our benchmark test. Yeah, battery life should be better on the new AMD 8-core CPUs, but the new 16-core Dragon Range CPUs, I'm not sure what the battery life on those are going to be like. Hey, do I see a Bubba? Hero. Hero, come here. But I've got a Zephyrus Duo 16 coming in, I think, today. So if the Zephyrus Duo 16 comes in, I should be able to test out the battery life. I'm very curious to do like a battery life rundown test or something. Lenovo itself is the best. I ordered one yesterday for 4080, 32 gigs i9 for $35.99. Well, that's not the cheapest for sure, but I guess I don't know what European pricing is, so I don't have the full context there. I wish more manufacturers used the 15-inch 240 hertz OLED used on the Razer and MSI. Yeah, that would have been cool if some of these laptops had used that. So, looking at our utilization, we're doing 97% GPU utilization. That's great. So basically, we're not being CPU bottlenecked much, if at all, and our GPU wattage is going pretty high. Not quite to 175, but we rarely see actual pure 175 in games. Our temperatures are phenomenal, 60 degrees, 65 degrees. I'm very curious to see what we get. Daniel says, I got my Duo yesterday. They updated their specs. The 4090 can pull 175 watt. That's amazing. Yeah. It was originally 165 listed on their tech specs, and they changed it to 175. So, and I believe the CPU can pull 125 in manual fan mode for consistent wattages, at least according to their reviewer's guide that I read through. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it performs. I mean, that should do, at least in theory, based on what I've seen from other reviewers, it should be able to get around 34,000 in Cinebench R23. So that'd be pretty awesome. Daniel, how are you liking your Zephyrus Duo 16? Is it good? I'm curious how your experience is going so far. Bald says, smash the likes, guys. Yeah, guys, please do smash the like button if you are enjoying this live stream. It does help this live stream get out to more people, and it's much appreciated. Okay, so I have reset. I have reset the FPS counter there right as we loaded into the scene. We are doing 125 FPS so far. Obviously, very good FPS. The ZenBook 14 Pro OLED, 120 Hz, 4070 looks like the perfect all-around laptop. It does look like it could be pretty good. SBO 75, and I would consider reviewing that one because at least it is 120 Hz. Given that it's an OLED, it should also have a good refresh rate, at least in theory. So, high response rate, fast refresh rate. Do you know what the power limits are on it for the 4070? I'm guessing it's a really low watt 4070. Krupp says, I'm waiting for my Razer 18. Which one did you get? I'll bet you you're gonna love it. I've really liked mine so far. $125 watts. Oh, for the total power draw. Interesting. Okay. Well, if Asus decides to send me a ZenBook 14, I would consider reviewing it. They've offered to send me 2 ZenBooks, and I turned them down because they weren't really gaming laptops. All right. There we go. Let's see what we get. Average FPS of 115.33. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and load into our next benchmark. And I'll pull up. So we got 115. So next benchmark is going to be God of War. Let me get that started. And then I'll try to pull up some data to compare with for Red Dead, at least against RTX 3000 series. Okay, so here's our numbers for RTX 3000 series. These are 1080p numbers. We don't have a comparable benchmark to compare with. But at QHD, we're doing significantly more, 115. So imagine what we get at 1080p. It'd probably be very CPU bound, though, at 1080p. 91 FPS at 1080p on the same settings. Okay, so here we are, God of War. I want to make sure that we're at the right resolution. There we go. Okay, that's better. 16 by 10 was on the wrong aspect ratio. Okay, we're on all ultra settings. We'll hit continue. Our God of War benchmark for the SCAR 18 was 116, GT77 124. So our goal is at least 116. Right now we're doing 130, 140. This way is harder looking this way. Okay, so here we are. We're running 122 so far. Phenomenal. Whoo-wee. Gotta love that. 125. So this is matching the GT77. 127. So 3 more than the GT77. I'm pretty sure the Omen 17 did very similar to this. I think it was like 126 or something. So this is the new highest test we've had in God of War. I love it. I love it. All right. So our next test. So here's the results. God of War, 116 for SCAR, 124 for GT, and we just did 127 for the Blade. So now we're doing CSGO. Let's go to CSGO. Okay, there's a lot of chat. Sam Ward says 1% lows weren't that good. Yeah, they were at 52 at least. That's pretty good. I mean, you're not going to have massive stuttering or anything at 52. So I'm not sure why you say that. 1% lows. Maybe let's see what the 1% lows were on God of War. So on the SCAR 18, 1% lows were 53. The GT77 had better 1% lows at 90, though. 95. So, yeah, so the 1% lows were better on the GT77, but the SCAR 18 had about the same. That's interesting that the 1% lows were really good on the GT77. All right, video... We are in full screen, QHD plus, full screen, high settings, workshop, go, yay, all right. Oh, Sam Ward says on Red Dead. Oh, gotcha, okay. I didn't look at the 1% lows on Red Dead. The 75-45 rips and CPU only loads. Still, the GT77 is faster with an undervolt. Have you figured out any ways to enhance the performance of the Zephyrus Duo 16 yet? I'm curious if you got any better FPS gains in any way. Okay, so we should be able to be good. I got to turn on NetGraph 3. All right. So let's see what we get on the Blade 18. So right now we're doing between 500 and 600. 500, 600. The SCAR did like 512. The GT77 did like 560. And this is definitely a game where I would not expect any kind of driver updates to improve anything. Most likely, since CSGO has been around for so dang long. Krupp says, I got the 4090. I bought it after watching your live stream. Gotcha, man. Cool, dude. Massa says, can't wait for the Legion Pro 7 review. When you do it, please compare it to the other 4090 laptops, especially thermals and noise levels. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I would like to do kind of like maybe a more dedicated live stream to that would be a good idea. We need battery life information on the 7945 HX CPU performance. The way you phrase that, Lebroni, is a little weird. I believe you mean you want to know the battery life, the performance of the 7945 one-on battery is what I think you're asking for. Massa says, I repasted my Legion 7i with liquid metal. It was very dry after a year. Temps went from 90 to 65 on the CPU. Nice, dude. That's a big improvement. Yeah, your temps can definitely improve a lot if you repaste. Okay, so we got 523. 523. So better than the Scar 18, not as good as the GT77. Overall, some excellent performance. All right, let's move on to our next test. We are doing Hogwarts Legacy. Woohoo! Lebroni says, battery life just in general is the only significant edge that AMD has on Intel in theory. Well, the stock Ryzen 7945 says, well, interesting. Did you guys see that? It said my driver. Oh, interesting. Let me check what my driver is on this, because I thought this driver had the latest driver, but it might not have the latest driver. Just so you know, we have the driver version 528.42 on these tests. That should be the same driver that we tested the Scar 18 with. Pretty sure that's the same driver. So, this should, in theory, be a bit fairer comparison than I thought. So, same NVIDIA driver this time around. So, it does not have 531, which is the newer driver. All right, so we have DLSS on quality, frame generation enabled, frame rate is uncapped. We have everything on ultra settings, ray tracing on. We should probably set our texture quality to low just for sake of similar testing to the lower quality. Shori asked when I'm getting the Legion Pro 7i. I don't know when it's going to come. I hope it comes soon. I'd like to wait for it to go to daylight. We did not go to daylight. Why didn't it go? I'll try it one more time. And we ran into this problem last time. Okay, at least now it's daytime. That's good. Look at our smooth FPS with almost no stutters. Our 1% lows are really good. Hopefully it stays that way. This is the first time loading into this section of the map too. Wow. That is some really fantastic 1% low stuttering. Or fantastically low 1% low stuttering. Okay, so I accidentally threw one of these chomping cabbages. I don't want it to be in the benchmark if I can avoid it. It's only be right at the beginning of the benchmark, but whatever. Okay. All right, so there it goes. All right, now it's out of the benchmark. All right, here we go. Hogsmeade. We got a run through. This is exceptional performance. Again, Hogwarts did get a performance update, though, to help reduce stuttering and frame rate issues. So do keep that in mind. All right, so we got 111 and 53. Looking at our CPU, GPU wattages, we are being CPU bottlenecked a bit. You see this? We're getting 87% on our GPU usage. Our CPU is only pulling 68 watts. CPU temperatures are also a little bit high in this section, but overall, still impressive. Impressive performance. That's much better than we had on the Scar. We'll swing over to the world map, and we'll just go down to the Enchanted Forest for a second and run over there. Do you think in terms of value, a laptop between screen performance, portability, battery life, build quality, and ports? Well, I think portability and battery life will matter to some people and completely not matter to others. So that's going to have a lot of variability. All right, I'm resetting this counter so we get new counter. Look at all these deer. This is cool. So the Scar 18, I think, got 93. The GT77 got like in the 70s or something like that. So the fact that we got over 100 and 11 shows that we're performing way better in Hogwarts now. But we really would need to redo the test, I think, for a fair comparison with the GT77 and Scar 18. So important to recognize that fact. All right, so very nice overall levels of performance with no stuttering so far. Notice our RAM usage is 22.8 gigs. Very high RAM usage. You forgot that I was filming the screen? That's funny. Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? All right, let's move on to our next test. Let's do Flight Simulator. So we still have Flight Simulator, Apex Legends, and The Witcher 3. We'll do those three, I think. As long as Flight Simulator is fully downloaded, it should be. I did spend like 5 or 6 hours downloading it. It takes forever. Screen looks very good. Lebroni says screen looks overexposed. It just depends on what scene you're looking at, because the camera has to try to compensate for the exposure, and it's quite crazy different depending on each scene that you're looking at. Malevolent Rand, YouTube doesn't let you link it's like doesn't allow anyone link except the streamer. So we're gonna go to full screen, keep changes. DLSS, we're going to go to quality. We're going to need to change our DX11 to DX12. And we want the global rendering quality to be on ultra. So now we have to restart this and reopen it to get frame rate. We're not going to be doing Valorant because it's not installed. And it takes a little while to download. Bum ba bum 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 ba dum button. But I can pretty much guarantee you Valorant is going to do like 240 FPS on this display with this CPU and GPU setup. Depending on the settings, but I think even at highest settings it would do that. I think. Glossy all the way, only available on the Flow X13. Well, that Flow X13 also goes up to like 1100 nits brightness too, so that's pretty awesome. Well, I'm going to do screen responsiveness testing in Apex Legends, and I've already done that. It's very responsive display. So I did that in the unboxing to test it. Anyone here got a Strix or Scar 2023? Shori, I do. I have one right there. I'm not using it as my main laptop though, but Strix G18 right there. All right, so checking our settings. Frame generation is off. Oh, interesting. 100% monitor refresh rate. We want to set that. There are so many dang settings in here. Anyway, we're going to do Ultra, DLX12, DLSS on quality, everything's set to Ultra. It's all looking good now. I think all our settings are correct. World map, we're taking off from PDX. We're doing a takeoff at 1 p.m. And we're going to do, I believe it's scattered clouds. Yeah, I think that's what I like to do. Sometimes I've been doing, I think, clear skies though. Yeah, well, I believe scattered clouds is what we do though. All right. Beautiful. Let's fly. Woohoo! Do we have any coil wine on this? No coil wine on this, but I believe you're talking about the Strix. And my Strix G18 does have coil wine. I can hear it. Raleigh Edwards says, is the color gamut of the display good because it makes game colorful or oversaturated? I think this display is super colorful, and it doesn't seem oversaturated to me. It's a very high color gamut display. All right, so we're going to do F3. All right, our throttle is up. And now we're going to release our parking brake and reset our FPS in 3, 2, 1. We are rolling now. Malevolent Rand says, the coil wine on my G18 went away after about a week of heavy use. Interesting. That's great to know. I hope it stays away and doesn't come back. Yeah, if the display seems oversaturated, it's probably just because of the camera color profiles being set to be that way. Which new generation laptop is going to be in my main? Shadowy, I've basically chosen the Blade 18 for now. Okay, so we got 11883. Very good performance. You're going to have a great time in Flight Simulator if you choose this laptop. That is quite clear. I would love to crash this thing. I don't even know the controls well enough yet. The controls are super funky in this game. Okay. So, Flight Simulator, phenomenal performance. I believe that's the highest I've ever seen. Let's go Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Gizmo Tech, why do you like gaming laptops so much when you could build a faster gaming PC for less money? So I think gaming laptops can be very competitive with desktop PCs, but it just depends. It's not always. Oftentimes it is better to buy a desktop. But in like the low to mid range, it can be very competitive because you get the keyboard, the mouse, everything all in one package. And sometimes you can get a good gaming laptop for like $1,000, which can be hard to get a good gaming monitor, keyboard, mouse, and desktop for under $1,000 total. But for me, a gaming laptop, I love gaming laptops because I'm enthusiastic about the power it gives you as a person. Like for me, a gaming laptop means I can live stream, I can make videos, I can edit videos, I can escape to a wonderful world of video game-ness, and it's just super fun and epic. Enjoying playing tons of games. I love video games. I have like over 10,000 hours in different video games all put together in my life. I enjoy VR. I enjoy all of it, basically. And so for me, it's a mixture of I love playing games. I love the power it gives you as a person. And then I usually am on the road traveling a lot. So yeah, I've owned well over 100 gaming laptops in my life now. At least if you include all the review laptops, I think it's closer to 150. Gaming laptops are always interesting because of the small form factor and portability, while desktops are always much more powerful. Yeah, desktops are more powerful, but they don't have the same portability factor, So that's the main reason why I prefer the laptop. Like for me, laptops are, I can get work done, I can play games, I can create content, I can communicate with people using the webcam and the cameras, and they're magical to me, I guess. I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, I got my first gaming laptop. So I was like 12. My dad gave me his old gaming laptop, and I used to play MS-DOS games on it when I was 12. So yeah, that's why I love gaming laptops. Also, laptops save money if you use it for work, some space, and don't have a TV or console. Yeah, you can do a combination of... if you want to be a more minimalistic lifestyle, you can use a gaming laptop to replace all of those things. A console, TV. Though I would still have a TV, obviously, if it was me. All right, I'm going to reset this. We're doing 268 FPS. Jeez. That is some exceptionally great FPS in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. And this display quality really is phenomenal. This is so bright right now in my face. I love it. I love it so much. Like this gaming laptop is really, really great. Shazib says, I love laptops, but they're too loud when gaming. I cannot use my Omen 15 for gaming. It's too loud. So you could certainly use this Blade 18 on quieter fan modes, and you wouldn't hardly hear the fans at all. What was my first laptop? I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. May have been a Dell or HP, I think. But it was like this thick. It had, I think, a 12-inch display. It weighed probably 12 pounds. And it used Windows 3.1 and MS-DOS, I believe. Or maybe Windows 95. I don't think it had Windows 95, though. I think it was Windows 3.1 and MS-DOS. And it was like It was like 1995, 1996-ish when I got it. It was, like I said, it was my dad's old gaming laptop. Or my dad's old laptop. He had bought a new one to do work on, so. 161 FPS. Comparing that to the Scar 18. Let's see what we get. $151 for the Scar 18, $169 for the GT77. So again, we're slotting in between the GT77 and the Scar 18. So next up, we have The Witcher 3. Boomer alert. What? Steve O'Nash. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hopping into The Witcher 3 now. My first laptop was from NEC, and it had what I thought was the coolest thing in the world, S-Video Out. Oh my goodness. I remember when you had a VGA, it was like the best thing because you could hook up to projectors. All the monitors took VGA. You always wanted to make sure you had VGA, you know? Daniel says, I really like you as a person and a tester because this is raw testing, not a stage test or a written homepage. Yeah, not a scripted test or scripted results where you don't understand how the test was done. I'm trying to be as transparent as possible with you guys, you know, which I think is the reason why my videos are getting a lot more popular right now, at least. Okay. QHD Plus, frame generation enabled. I also want to check to see if... Oh, I should have checked it 3 minutes ago. I'm pretty sure we would be over 100K views if I had checked it 3 minutes ago on the channel. For the last 48 hours. We're at 97.7 thousand right now. But it resets every hour. Can you guys see that? 97.9 for the views in the last 48 hours, which is the highest this channel has ever had before. So I love it. Thank you guys so much for the support. I would love to be able to hit that during the live stream, but the live stream is almost over. We basically hit it though, because the previous hour that was here, I guess was only 1,000. So I guess not. Probably it was probably like 99 something. I heard the 2023 Legion 7 Pro 7i runs cooler than the Scar and the Strix. It might. I haven't tested it yet. It obviously I think it's gonna be very high performance. Okay, so the first time you load into The Witcher 3, it's always laggy, stuttery as it loads all those textures in and everything. We're going to run around for a moment. We're going to run out here, then we're going to run back in, and we'll start. Antonio Jackson says, well deserved. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay, so here we are. Just to verify our settings are correct. Ray tracing is on ultra, DLSS is on quality. Frame generation is enabled, and we're at QHD plus. And we're off. Right now our GPU utilization is 99.95. That's good. Our CPU is not that hot right now, or not that high either in usage. It's only like 40 watts of usage. It's interesting how good the frame rate is given this, given our low CPU usage, we're still getting very high frames. 113 average. Our 1% is at 42 right now, though. Wow. Fantastic. We're gonna 113.50. Checking out our Scar 18 versus 19. What did we get? Let's see. Witcher 3. Do I have it here? I thought we had this one. I guess we don't have that one, but we should have it on this Scar video. So let's check the Scar video. The Witcher 3. Frame generation enabled. We gotta watch this ad. It's annoying that I have ads on my own video. All right, so getting to the end. 107 on the Scar. So we beat the Scar by a few FPS. But very, very similar levels of performance there. All right, and next I would like to do Far Cry 5. And then we'll do a, well, if this takes too long to update, we'll see. All right. So I think we're just going to do a wrap-up summary. At this point, I think we've tested enough games at this point, and we've got a really good sense of the performance of the Blade 18, and it is right in there with the other laptops this year. The other top highest level performance, at least in terms of gaming performance, right? So I'll just do a quick summary of the whole laptop. And this is kind of my current, I guess, review of the machine. So to start with, I like the skin. Whoa, hold on. Sorry, chat. Oh, the mic fell down under the table and went like far. Okay. All right, so the Blade 18 is a phenomenal gaming laptop. It starts with the unibody chassis, vapor chamber cooling, providing overall good performance. Our CPU power limits in games are not as high. That's the biggest drawback. And sometimes we're also seeing spikes in temperatures up to like the 90s, 95s. But for the most part, in gaming loads, we were hitting more like 80s. And the GPU was hitting like 75 or less most of the time, which is phenomenal. Now for esports gaming, this thing is great. We saw phenomenal FPS in Apex Legends. I tested that in the last live stream if you want to check that out. The response rate's good. We did Warzone today. The response rate was good in that. I enjoy the keyboard, but I wish the layout was better for the number pad. I wish it had a number pad, but it doesn't. That's okay that it doesn't. But the arrow keys especially need to be reworked into larger arrow keys that are easy to press. I was able to fit my double-sided SSDs in here. I'm running my two 8 terabyte SSDs currently in this Blade 18. The display has been phenomenal. We rated it at over 500 nits. I believe it was 570 nits brightness with a higher level of contrast than the Scar. And so I do really love this display. The flickering issue, I believe we solved that during this live stream by turning on G-Sync to be full screen windowed only mode. And that seems to have stopped the flickering on the Blade 18, which I am very grateful that that's over now, because that was very annoying. Now, the trackpad is large and feels really, really good. The keyboard feel when you're actually typing on it is excellent. The spacing is good, and the speakers in this thing are next level, the best gaming laptop speakers I've ever heard. Not quite as good as the MacBook Pro, but superb overall. Excellent level of speakers. The blend you get of performance with quieter fans overall on this machine is the best I've seen. Simply because the speakers are so loud, and you can tune this thing in Synapse to have very reasonable CPU and GPU temperatures. And still, I'm seeing some fantastic performance numbers in every game I play. So you will get better performance if you run it on maximum fans, get lower temperatures, but you don't have to. And basically, you can have moderate fan noise levels on this machine and still have great performance. For portability, this is the most portable, most premium gaming laptop that I have seen so far, especially in the 18-inch category. It's the most portable 18-inch laptop, not most portable overall, but it is still a very portable, very premium user experience with Windows Hello and a higher quality webcam. I did test that webcam in the unboxing video, so check that out if you want to check that out. The ports on this I thought were excellent. Full-size SD card reader. I did get 250 megabytes transfer speed per second on my UHS-2 SD card that is rated for 250. So that was phenomenal. What else? I mean, I'm a huge fan of this Blade 18. I think it's a real winner, but it does cost a premium price. At least the Blade 18 power adapter is much smaller than the competition. You know, those thicker, bigger power adapters are just not going to be as portable, right? So that's kind of my summary of the Blade 18 right now. I think you're getting matching the performance of the Scar 18 close to the performance of the GT77 in nearly all games. The power limits were very good overall. And the multi-core CPU workloads in this were also still very good, but though, again, not quite as fast as what you're getting in something like the Scar 18 or the GT77, at least in terms of power limits, but this does allow full undervolting. So I did go through and show people how to undervolt in the unboxing video. So if you want a tutorial on how to undervolt this, also go check out that tutorial video. It's in my live stream section. Man, this this laptop is I'm so enjoying this laptop, and from a usability standpoint, because of the better speaker quality, it makes it so that if I'm just playing a casual game, I don't feel like I need to reach for my headphones to have an enhanced high quality audio experience. The spatial audio is fantastic, though. When I was playing Apex Legends, it was harder to track the precise location of footsteps when there's a lot of noise around me, so I did switch back to headphones when playing Apex Legends. But for casual games, the spatial audio is good enough to fully enjoy that experience and feel more immersed in the gameplay. So, all right. I think the Blade 18 is a phenomenal buy, but it's not really for everyone, because you can get a lot more value in something like the Omen 17, maybe the Legion Pro 7i, the Scar 18. And if you are looking to get the best bang for the buck, you do probably want to get the 4080 version of this laptop, or 4080 version in general, because it's almost as fast as the 4090, about 10 to 12 to maybe 15% difference in performance depending on the game. So in general, the 4080 to 4090 increase in cost is usually not quite worth it. So yeah, it's $44.99 plus tax, Clark Kent. And I'm willing to pay that because of the premium features that this machine offers. But if you're trying to save money at all, going for an Omen 17 that's starts at $27.49 for an i7 and a 4090, I mean, that's kind of a no-brainer in terms of bang for the buck. And you can add and customize that laptop to be quite a bit different as you add higher quality displays and better CPU and better RAM and SSD space. So Lebroni says, no mini LED screen though. That's true, but this display is still so good that it's almost as good as the mini LED when you're in SDR mode. Because the SDR mode of mini LEDs are only supposed to be like 600 nits, and this does 570 nits. So, I mean, unless you're using the HDR content, like HDR games or HDR videos, your raw brightness is going to be about the same, though a mini LED display does have much better contrast ratio. So it's going to look like a cleaner image with less backlight bleed. There is some backlight bleed on this Blade 18. Massis says, that's like 2.5 months of salary for me, living by photosynthesis and sleeping outside. Yeah, this thing's not cheap. Razer has never been a brand that caters to people looking for the best performance per dollar, but at least now you're getting a premium experience with basically the highest level of performance. So there's my summary review of the Blade 18 after combining both my unboxing video and this benchmarking video together. You should be able to get all of that data, put that together. I definitely highly recommend the Blade 18 to those of you who have infinite money or high amounts of money to dedicate to a gaming laptop. It is a more premium experience that I feel like is worth the money, at least in my case. So, yeah. CL says, some laptops only come with the i9-13900HX Is it worth waiting to buy the i9 13950HX or 13980? The difference is not very strong. It's going to make a bigger difference based on how the laptop is tuned. Like if it's a high wattage 13900HX, it'll probably outperform a lower wattage 13950 or 13980. So that's not really that big of a difference. Clark Kent, so you have infinite money, huh? No, I don't have infinite money, but I have money to dedicate to a gaming laptop for sure. People buy $10,000 MacBooks because they offer quality of life and little things without using 20% of its power. So Razer is a budget option. What? LeBron says only thing these long videos need for the cherry on top is the battery estimation. I did do some battery testing with this, but nothing too extravagant. I was getting, I think, about 4.5 hours of web browsing with minimal optimization when I was using the integrated GPU. Without the integrated GPU and dedicated GPU only mode to avoid flickering, which is what I switched it into shortly after I got it. It's closer to like 2 hours if you're optimizing. So you obviously need to have the dual mode on, and in order to have better battery life, but then you might have the flickering issue happening. So until the flickering issue is fixed, battery life on this laptop is going to be pretty crappy. So, but yeah, I'm thinking for battery life on this, depending on how you optimize it, unoptimized, you're probably looking at about 3 hours of web browsing with high levels of brightness and just browsing the web or whatever. And then if you optimize it by lowering the brightness, lowering the keyboard backlight, not making sure nothing else is opening, and you're just doing integrated only mode, then you're looking at maybe like closer to 5 hours of battery life. So yeah, it's not amazing. If you super optimize it, turn off Wi-Fi, turn off Bluetooth, all of that, and be very low in the brightness, like for say taking notes in meetings or in college, you're probably going to get like 6-7 hours, I bet you. So, am I getting the Zephyrus M16 4070? Mario, I might be. I'm going to focus heavily on the laptops that are offered by Best Buy. So, whatever Zephyrus M16 model Best Buy offers, I'll probably get that version unless Asus sends me another version. So, same for whatever Zephyrus G14 version comes out. Razer Blade 18 drop test win. Never, man. It's my baby now. Can't drop the baby. I don't know what the GPD Win Max 2 is. Alienware Command Center 6 launched a couple days ago. Have you a chance to see if that fixed the awful out-of-the-box performance of your M16? Great question. I have not yet. I need to revisit the Alienware M16 because now that I'm sure updates have happened, I should see what the out-of-the-box experience is like now for users, because that's going to make a huge difference for whether the M16 is worth picking up. Because out of the box, the software experience was pretty crappy. It was very minimal performance out of the box without tweaking with Intel XTU, and I'm hoping it's much better now. And I hope most importantly, I hope the software update process is better, because it was a pain in the butt to get the Alienware Command Center to update to the latest version and then become usable again. It was awful. So I really hope that Alienware gets their software fixed and working 100%. Fingers crossed that they did. But yeah, I should do a revisitation live stream or update video or something on the Alienware M16 at some point. Yeah, so that's it for this live stream. I hope that was a great example of all those benchmarks. We'll have side by side with the Blade 18, Scar 18, and GT77 benchmarks, split screen analysis soon. So be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on that video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks so much for tuning into the live stream. Peace. And thanks so much for everyone that donated this live stream. Thanks for I think it was $30 of super chats. It helps a lot. Thank you guys.